Welcome to Assembly Update. I'm Ted Flint. Joining us today, Assemblyman Scott Gray, who serves the 116th Assembly District, the counties Jefferson and St. Lawrence. Assemblyman Gray, good to see you.
Nice to see you, Ted. Great to be with you again.
You're in your Canton office as we record
That
this.
I am. Yeah, a little different digs today. I'm in.
Yeah.
So I have three offices. I'm fortunate enough to have three offices. My Albany office, and then I have my main district office is Watertown, and then we have a satellite office in Canton.
It's a pretty good sized district, I would imagine.
Yep, yeah, it is. It is.
Right.
Very good.
We're going to talk a few minutes about nuclear energy and about diversity, and electrification. As you know, is whether you're talking about new homes or vehicles, school buses. Electrification is very costly. There are alternatives. Nuclear energy is among them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as you know, New York State's on a path for electrification and decarbonizing the grid, especially with the CLCPA, legislation that was passed in 2019. And I would just say in terms of that legislation, I think it's unfortunate in the fact that it's accelerating it faster than the marketplace and that the state is prepared to move in. So, which is really resulting in really consumer cost. That's really what's driving a lot of the rate increases that we're seeing. The objectives of the CLCPA are admirable. However, what the result is that we're on right now is the increased costs that we're seeing. And we're really not prepared because, we are trying to get away from fossil fuels. We have decommissioned earlier in right around the CLCPA, they decommissioned Indian Point. And the intention was that they were going to replace it with new renewable energy, which is, again, admirable, but it's not doable. So New York State has really embarked now and kind of changed the direction a little bit, if you will, to focus on advanced nuclear technology as a generation source. And if you see it, it's really a wave across the country and, in actually multiple countries. It's being stood up right now in Canada, Darlington, Ontario. It is, worldwide. So the technology is really, and what's driving the technology, because that's the important thing, is the inundation of all these data centers and innovation of AI, artificial intelligence and chip manufacturing. And there are several things. They are very, very heavy energy users. So that's driving the need for more, energy sources. Electrification is driving it. We will not meet it with renewables. We cannot meet the goals with renewables. You have seen a sort of backing off, if you will, on the goals that were established with the CLCPA and sort of kind of change of direction. Nuclear was not part of the mix when the CLCPA was passed. And so now you see a really driving force to that. It takes about, I think it was the last I knew, about 1 megawatt or 3 megawatts of renewables to make up for 1 megawatt of traditional fossil fuels or natural gas and things like that. So, as we know, renewables they consume a lot of space. Yeah. With solar arrays, they are weather dependent. Both solar arrays and wind is weather dependent, and that is not so. And then we have to have battery storage to go along with that, and so we're way ahead of the marketplace on that. We're not prepared for that for that type of expansion of our energy sources. So nuclear is really baseload, reliable, dispatchable energy, and that's why you're seeing the move to it. And the other thing is, as the economics, the economic drivers and development that we're seeing, like I said, with AI and these data centers, they rely on steady power 24/7, 365.
Right. So that's what the market, that's how it usually operates. Uh,
Yeah.
it also doesn't hurt that the governor is on board with nuclear energy. She's come out in support of it. What do you make of that? Are you surprised by that?
Well, it's refreshing to see a direction that is bipartisan. We have the federal administration that is headstrong into this issue, and the governor is on board with this. And by all accounts, everybody is working well together to try to advance this technology, towards nuclear. So it really, and I think that's why really what makes it so exciting is, first of all, the opportunities that are attached with this type of generation. And the other thing is the fact that everybody is getting along in terms of, advancing this issue forward. So that's really what makes it kind of I would say, an exciting issue. I tell people this is, in my opinion, this is a generational moment. We have not seen this type of expansion of any industry or certainly any energy generation source in a lifetime. And I think you will see as we continue to move forward, this will be a generational movement that will, and with these, and what are the benefits? So let me just say, what are the benefits of nuclear is as opposed to renewables, right? Like I said, they're always on, they're always available, they're reliable, dispatchable, but they have a much smaller footprint than, say, solar. And they have good quality jobs that are attached not only with the construction of these facilities, but certainly with the ongoing operation of these facilities. And those are not just nuclear engineers out of college, they are skilled labor. And that's one of the most important things. And then there's the whole economic picture that's really attached to this. What economic opportunities attach themselves to this type of generation? And I'll give you, for instance, right here in the 116th Assembly District, we have the St. Lawrence Power Project in Messina. It is a hydro facility, a large producer. It's about 1,000 megawatts. And we have Arconic and we have Alcoa. That's why GM was originally there. So we have a large manufacturing that locates nearby these facilities. So the quicker we can get these stood up in a very safe manner, the better off our whole economy will be.
Yeah, jobs will be created for sure. And where would you like these facilities, these nuclear facilities, where do you think that would be best located?
Yeah, so that's a good question because early in this process, one of the metrics that people look at, right, for locating one of these facilities is community willingness, or somebody basically raised their hand. So we took to that early, and we said, I'll raise my hand, and I will try, through my office and other elected officials will try to build that support for this type of energy generation. So we hosted an event in Alex Bay earlier this summer. We're going to host 2 more that are going to be public events, and we're really trying to educate the public. It's really our intention to inform and educate the public in order to locate these facilities. The governor's is standing up 1 gigawatt of, she's announced 1 gigawatt of nuclear energy to be stood up by NYPA, New York Power Authority. Plus NYSERDA is looking for advanced nuclear technology. And the other thing is there's really 3 lines of effort here. We got Department of Energy. They're contracting with 10 nuclear energy companies to build small modular reactors. There's 3 types of reactors: micro modular, small modular, and then there's a full reactor, depending upon the megawatts that they produce. So the Department of Energy is asking for 10 companies to build small modular. Department of Defense, both the Army and the Air Force are standing up micro nuclear reactors. One Air Force has already announced Alaska. Fort Drum is in the running for, for a micro. We understood it was a list of 6, and Fort Drum potentially maybe one of 2 facilities in the final cut, if you will, for location. So we're hoping, and Fort Drum is a power projection platform, which means that they can deploy rapidly from their installation. Right, they have the Army airfield the airfield right there. They have rail right there. So everything that's all the components to rapidly deploy. So we think on Fort Drum is ideal. We have a lot of space. We have the microgrid. We have all the components that are necessary. In and around Fort Drum would certainly be appealing for, the NIPA, project, or Messina, New York. Messina, New York. Why do I say Messina? As I mentioned, there's already a NIPA facility there. So it would be an incremental expansion of their footprint that already exists. They have the substation, all the power structure, transmission structure already in place. We have the smart path that leaves Albany for downstate. We have all the infrastructure in place. So the overhead lines and the substations to handle the generations already there. So we already have personnel there. And lastly, and probably more importantly, is the community. The communities in and around the facility up in Messina are used to dealing with NIPA, right? Used to negotiating host benefits through the local government task force. They're used to dealing with power proceeds and power preservation development and power contracts. So we have all the experience necessary in Messina to be an excellent host for one of these facilities. And so I really think Messina is probably in upstate New York, one of the best positioned locations possible.
That sounds promising. Now, you mentioned
Yes.
Fort Drum. Speaking of Fort Drum, I know you, with the 10th Mountain Division, you're heading to the southern border. When is that going to happen?
So that's this coming weekend, October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I've had the opportunity. So I was going to originally take some other colleagues with me, but Fort Drum, the 10th Mountain Division, who is in the command of what we call the JTF SB, that's Joint Task Force Southern Border. They're in the command of that operation down there right now. They're relinquishing command to the 101st. So there was a transition period that's going on right now as we speak. So we had to limit who can go. So I intend to go down, join the commanding general of the 10th Mountain Division, plus he's the commanding general of the Joint Task Force. So that's Major General Scott Gray. So I will join him down there this weekend. I will be staying at Fort Huachuca, and then we will take a Black Hawk over to Nogales, and we'll just observe the southern border and all the work that the 10th Mountain Division has done down there, working side by side with the Customs and Border Patrol. And really what they're doing, it's a national security operation. So they're really so they're getting ready to transition. They're getting ready to come home. So first of all, I'll be one to say thank you for the work that they've done. I'll be the first to say the North Country is ready to welcome them home. And lastly, I hope to communicate the important work that they have done that have made our communities in our states all around the United States and all around New York much safer by the work that they have done.
And we certainly owe them a debt of gratitude for sure. Well, there's a lot happening with Assemblyman Scott Gray. If you want to get in touch with the Assemblyman, you can dial him in Watertown, 315-786-0284, or in Canton, where he is currently, 315-386-2037. Assemblyman Scott Gray, good to speak with you.
Nice to speak with you, Ted. Thanks for having me again.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon on the next edition of Assembly Update. I'm Ted Flint.